For more on this, I'm joined on set by our international affairs editor, Philip Turle. Philip, welcome. We hear a bit of a dramatic twist with this in this long-running criminal trial with Bolsonaro, now described as a high flight risk. What's meant by that?
Right. Well, he was taken into police custody this morning, the former president, Jair Bolsonaro, at 6 a.m. local time. What the prosecuting judge, whose name is Alexandre de Moraes, wants is to make sure that Jair Bolsonaro doesn't abscond. Basically, there are fears that, as we were hearing in that report, he was trying to take off his leg bracelet that is an electronic bracelet to make sure that they know exactly where he is. There have been reports today saying, look, the bracelet is working fine. He wasn't trying to take it off. That's the reply coming from the family. And the second point was that there are fears that he may have tried to abscond during a protest march outside his house, which was called for tonight by his son, Flavio, by Jair Bolsonaro's supporters. May have tried to use that march, that protest movement, to try to abscond and to make his way either to the Argentine embassy or more likely towards the U.S. embassy to ask for political asylum. Now, why the U.S. embassy? Because Jair Bolsonaro is being backed by the U.S. President Donald Trump. Donald Trump, who earlier imposed 50% tariffs on Brazil before removing most of them last week. And he's also taken out sanctions against the prosecuting judge, Alexandre Moraes, banning him from holding any bank accounts in the US and imposing sanctions on both him and his wife. So I think there is a reason on the part of the judge to fear that the grounds were right to bring Jair Bolsonaro into custody ahead of serving his 27-year jail term, which was handed down in August by a 4-1 majority in the Supreme Court, as a means of making sure that the former president does go to jail and is not going to try to abscond away from the country.
Now, Bolsonaro's lawyers are saying that they're going to appeal against him being sent to jail. After this, do they have any chance of success?
Well, what they're saying basically is that he's not fit. He should not be going to jail. He is ill. He was stabbed during his election campaign before he took office in the stomach by a protester and is still suffering from the side effects of that stab wound. He's also reported to have skin cancer and suffers periodically violent attacks of hiccuping. And they say that he's not in a fit state to be able to go to jail, and that's why they're asking for him to be left under house arrest. Now, will that happen or not? The ability of his lawyers to try to reach some kind of a deal to keep him under house arrest have sort of come to nothing until now. There's going to be another attempt on Monday with another plea deal by his lawyers to try to reach an agreement with the Supreme Court that Jair Bolsonaro doesn't go to jail for 27 years or how long he'll be in jail for. But I think there is pretty much little hope that that is going to come to anything, because it's Alexandre de Moraes who is going to be overseeing that, and he's already made it pretty clear that he wants Jair Bolsonaro to go to prison. It's a difficult situation for the former president. And one other thing that is quite interesting to underline is that even though he's no longer president, even though he looks pretty much certain to go to jail, he's still a popular person in Brazil. There are going to be elections next year. Latest opinion polls in Brazil show that if Jair Bolsonaro were to be a candidate in next year's elections, which looks pretty unlikely, then he would do extremely well and probably end up with a very high score in those elections. So he still does have a very strong support base in Brazil. And what this looks like it could do is to split the population even further between those who are still in support of him and those who believe it's right that he goes to prison.
Philip, thank you so much for sharing your analysis with us. That's France 24's Philip Turle, International Affairs Editor.